Hello and welcome to Agents of Clix. This will be our second part to close off our full review of the Mighty Thor. Today it's only me and Chris.
Hello.
Say hi, Chris. So just going to finish this off. We're chatting just through the last bits, which are the chasers, the colossals. We're also going to mention the starter set, and then we're going to round off with just our usual chat that me and Chris always get into anyway. Just chatting about how this is going to impact the meta, and then we'll do a full another episode probably sometime next week, but we'll see that as we go. So starting off with 061, the Thor. He's pretty cool. 4 clicks charge, going into 3 clicks of sidestep. His usual kind of defensive powers, the invincible, impervious, invulnerability. Invincible is a special version. When he takes damage from an attack that's not a critical, after the resolution of the action he heals 1. And he wields Mjolnir, which allows him to effectively do a close combat attack from 6 squares away. Or is it within range?
It's within his within range, I think. Yeah, so it depends on the character's range. So if you bump your range up, then.
So specifically for him, it's 6, but other people can wield it too if you want to pay the points to stick that on. Basically gives him a strange type of charge/running shot, effectively on his first couple of clicks. It also gives him +1 damage and attack if he's hitting someone who is adjacent, so puts him to 12 attack and 5 damage. He's only 160 points. He also has a trait of super strength. He can carry 2 objects, pick up and put down 2 objects, and can use 1 or both during the attack. His first 4 clicks has precision strike in there. The last 3 changes to close combat expert. I think he's pretty good for his points. I don't think he has a trick big enough to make him worthy of competitive play. But I think he's a really strong, normal play kind of piece.
Yeah, he certainly wouldn't mind pulling him. I mean, he's going for stupid amounts of money, but I don't know if that's just for the weapon really, rather than the actual. He's a nice, desirable figure. Obviously, that super strength then combines with a Mjolnir, so I can hit you with the objects from 6 squares away, as far as I'm aware, because you can just do a range close combat object attack, with a close combat action. So you can bump. You're not going to get more than +3 damage, so still hitting from 7 damage from 6 squares away.
I'm liking the idea of Thor just getting a boulder and another boulder and tying it to Mjolnir and throwing it at somebody.
Yeah, that's basically.
Yeah, right.
That's literally what he's doing. And the defense power's nice. He's probably not going to see.
I don't think it's going to get a lot of use. I think he'll probably get it off the once. The problem is it doesn't say after it's lost. So I assume if he loses it, it doesn't heal. I'll have to look at the timing because I forget about these things. But yeah, the timing chart. But yes, obviously you can just outwit it though. So he's got no protection from outwit, so it's nice. If he gets hit, he's only going to take sort of maximum 3 with the invincible. I find it strange that he doesn't have power cosmic. I mean, this particular rendition of Thor, it's the Odin Force wielding Thor, and we've had this before years ago as a LE for Supernova or something. And it was that exact kind of sculpt, armor wise. And that had power cosmic and was huge. And I don't see why it doesn't, but I mean, I'm kind of glad it doesn't. I think with power cosmic it probably would see a lot more play when it's so fast and its numbers are so high.
Yeah, but then you're comparing it to the title character Thor, which I think is better. And he's just a little bit more high points, I think. He has 175 to the 165. Obviously, he's got Mjolnir, which helps out. Yeah. But that title character does a lot more. So if I was going to play a Thor and I just really wanted one Thor from the set, I'd probably pick the title character rather than this guy.
I mean, I would probably just pay the points and give Thor Odin's son Mjolnir.
No, you could do that, yeah. But then you'd need the chase figure as well, though.
I mean, yeah, obviously I'm talking about ideal world here, but I'm assuming I'm reading it, and I can't see any reason why within Mjolnir it means that you can't just effectively get long-range hypersonic speeds, like the old shooting version. You just do a melee attack against somebody, a close combat attack from 7 squares away, which is what Thor Odinson has, so that you effectively get the old school hypersonic speed, which was just broke as all hell.
Within, because you're half in your range, so when you're hypersonic, so you still need to do the close combat attack within with your range.
It's modified range. Okay.
Well, not modified; it's replacement. But yes, it still needs to have range of line of fire. So once you've do the hypersonic, your range is halved. So I don't think it matters the fact that you're doing a close combat attack rather than range combat attack. I'll have to check the wording on that, but I don't think it allows that.
That's fair enough. I kind of hope it is. Even so, I mean, the hypersonic speed and being able to punch with the increased stats from actually punching somebody with Mjolnir. I mean, going Thor Odinson to 13 attack 5 damage is pretty mental. On top of already just being he does that and then gets another attack do another attack anyway.
I think I mean the weapon, we can go on to talk more about the weapons and stuff, but I think the weapon's more for shenanigans, really. It's where you've got a character who does something funky on a close attack, who has a reasonable range, and then you go, well, I can do that from my range now rather than having to punch it. So I have to be adjacent to do it.
So roll on to Thunderstrike. This guy sucks, man. If I opened the chases and this was it, I'd be gutted. He's got 3 clicks of charge and super strength, 3 clicks of sidestep and then not with nothing. Super strength, impervious, invincibility for 3 clicks, and then toughness for 3 clicks. Defense numbers are pretty good. I mean, he starts 19 for a couple of clicks, just slowly dropping as he goes along. 4 damage to begin with, 3 clicks of a special power, which gives him a power enhance. And each time a friendly character attacks while having the damage value modified by one of his powers, Thunderstrike attacks gets modified by +1 this turn. And then he goes to Close Combat Expert. He wields Thunderstrike, which gives him Force Blast, Leap Climb. When a character's knocked back at least 1 square, heal this character 1 click, so basically heals himself after knocking people back. And a trait which lets him, when Thunderstrike is KO'd, you may choose an equipment or object that started on your force that one of your opponent's. Sorry, I'll try again. You may choose an equipment/object that started the game on your force and one that started on your opponent's force. If you do, remove both objects from the game, even if they were equipped. So basically, if Thunderstrike... I'm assuming Thunderstrike, it's referring to the character, not the weapon. I'm assuming when he dies, his axe shatters that no one else can pick it up, but also he breaks something on the opponent's team.
Yeah.
He's just really dull and not very good, and his weapon's weird.
Well, his weapon's maybe useful. Good. Yeah, his weapon's maybe useful on somebody else who like to heal up, especially if you've got a stop click and go, I'm gonna knock you back and heal off that stop click now.
I'm thinking maybe some sort of, something along. I don't know specifically of one, but say like a Hulk that goes to like a Quake at the end. I'll go Quake. I'll knock you all back. I've knocked back 5 people. I'll just go back up. I'm assuming
it depends. Yeah, I don't think the rules there's been discussions around. If you knock more than one character back, does that mean you heal
multiple times?
I don't know, but yes, that would be good. On somebody that maybe gets a free attack or free Quake or multiple attack or something, you could do it on a Pulse Wave as well, because then that's be a close attack. Because a Force Blast, it's still got the passive effect, you can knock back. So doing it, Energy Explosion, something like that, where you do, it's sort of like a Steel Energy on a range attack then, really, isn't it? Which is funky if you can pull it off, but it's better, as I say, it's better if they rule it as get it multiple times, But the character, I don't really. He's just a chargy dude, and you're paying quite a lot for something where you can get better elsewhere, really, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. That was I was thinking. I just thought he's just a worse version of multiple other characters in the game. So I'll just quickly slide on to the next chase. We've got Beta Ray Bill. 2 starting lines. Top one is 225 points. Second one is 125 points. The top one gives you 2 clicks of ring shot and 1 click of nothing, all with precision strike. 2 invulnerability, 1 invincible. 2 invulnerability, 1 impervious, and weapon manipulation for his first 2 clicks, which is probability control. And opposing characters can't target beta ray bill or friendly characters adjacent to him unless they began the turn within 6 squares of the character or making a close combat attack.
4 squares rather than 6 squares.
Sorry, 4, did I say?
You said 6.
Sorry, 4 squares. I'll make a close combat attack. It's alright. He then goes to 3 clicks of charge with super strength for a couple of them, back to precision strike. Again, that trait, it's going in and out of that trait, sorry. The weather manipulation power, going in and out of that with close combat expert. He ends with a phase teleport click with a special defense of stop, regenerate toughness. When he's given a move action, he can use regeneration at no cost. And he can reduce penetrating damage. He also is equipped with Stormbreaker, which gives him +2 range, put him from 4 to 6, gives him energy explosion and quake. And this is, as a side note, a champion figure. And I think we've mentioned this before. I think amongst the champion figures, it's a well-designed, interesting piece with enough stuff in it to be a piece of chase, but I don't think it's good enough to be a championship piece. I think all the rest of them have been very strange in the way they work and really good in what they do. And I just think Beta Ray Bill is just not that. I just think he's good enough at everything that he does. I don't think he's there.
He does quite a lot. Obviously, the weather manipulation is probably the biggest thing that he does. Just protecting people. It's like a indigo battery sort of thing, isn't it? But you have to begin their turn within 4 squares. Unfortunately, the problem with him in competitive is that they've ruled that ID characters are going to go, well, they began their turn, so I could take somebody out, call in Nick, he began his turn 4 squares away from you, so I can shoot you.
Yeah, I think that was meant to be the case. Like, it's that manipulation is meant to be the kind of the crux where if you're a good player, you can play around that to the point where he's worth playing. But I just don't see it. It's just not good enough. It's not consistent enough because you can just, if you're playing a little version of it, just take a damage, and all of a sudden he's just trash. He's only 125 points, but I mean, there's a lot of much better 125 point pieces.
Yeah, but I think you're paying a lot for that weather manipulation, I think, and the stop click, and the fact that he comes equipped with a Stormbreaker.
Aided by Scuttlebutt power is interesting. I mean, it's going to be hard to kill him when he has a stop click, but he can just then phase away for 10 squares and free heal. But you can't even do that, can you? Because phasing is a power action.
That's fine.
A power.
Yeah, you do a move action and then you do regen. Although you get your -1 with the regen heal because of a stop click. Yeah, so you need a 3 or 4, not 3 or more. Yeah, so you need to hit him and then finish him off before he runs away.
But then, if you fail, at least you can try again properly. No, you can't because you've already done an action. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm tired. No, I think he's probably second of the worst chasers for me, and I think he's probably the most disappointing championship figure in a while. I don't actually know a lot of them off the top of my head. I can't point to a finger and go, yes, that's the championship one.
Well, the one that the Harley Quinn, obviously. There was the
was immense.
Chameleon. The same Pat that did. Devil Dinosaur, which was the team championship one. There was Paris Gordon doing Mephisto, and
all of these I like.
Stargirl, which didn't really. There was other bit.
No, that's the. I think that's the one. I knew there was one like proper wet fart amongst this group, but pretty much sure it's her. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the more recent ones have been pretty good. I mean, this is just an okay one.
Yeah, it's okay. I think that the weather manipulation, as I say, was trying to make it sort of competitive where you were protecting your team, but certainly with the ID, and ID characters are all over the place. Maybe if ID characters weren't all over the place, then it becomes a bit better with the ruling, because then it's very hard to shoot him first because you've got to start your turn sort of within 4 squares. So maybe if you're not playing with ID characters, it's worth a go.
Yeah, maybe. I'll move on. I think that's pretty much all to say about him. Got Malekith. He is 175 points or 100 points. I mean, he's such a complicated piece to break down.
Don't worry about saying exactly what he does. If you've got loads of people can have a look at it, just go through maybe some of his special powers.
Yeah, it's too long. Effectively, here's the interesting bit. He has the Casket of Ancient Winters. It's 12 points by itself. Power action, if your character carrying it is 100 points or more, give it 3 winter tokens. Well, to saying that. At the end of each player's turn, remove a token from your equipped character. If you do, give an action token to each active player's characters within 7 squares without an Asgardian, cosmic, or deity keyword. If you remove the last of the tokens, you cure this object instead. I'm not sure. It reads, for me, the first sentence of that reads, you just remove them, it's tough to ease, you can't do anything about it. But then the second side says, if you do, then this triggers, which makes it sound optional.
Well, yeah, because it's optional as in you can keep on doing power actions to put more tokens back on.
Okay, that is something I didn't think that through. Okay.
Because it's not at the beginning of the game you do it, it's a power action to do it. And if you keep, you'll have 3... my brain won't work with the timing of it, but yeah, you can keep on. So if you're not doing much else, you can just keep power action and make sure the tokens go on each turn, and then everybody gets action tokens on them all the time.
I think this is going to make some awfully oppressive team, which I'm just going to hate as much as the Do Not Die team.
It is only one, yeah. You've got to get within 7. Obviously, you're building a team that has those keywords, so you don't affect yourself. And obviously, you have to give this to a 100-point figure, so you can't give it to a weenie just to go right. I'll just token everybody up all the time.
I don't know. I'm sure there's a way.
Well, there will be. People might try it.
But yeah, and then in terms of Malekith himself, he ignores characters when shooting. He can only ever take 1 damage from range attacks. He has a strange incapacitate for his first 3 clicks only. These 3 clicks specifically are his higher point value. When an opposing character within range and line of fire is given an action token by an effect. Sorry, by this. Sorry, I'm doing well here, aren't I? When an opposing character within range and line of fire is given an action token by an effect of a character, not equipment, on your force, after resolution you may roll a d6. On a 4, 5, or 6 you generate 1 Dark Elf Bystander, which is just essentially a 9 attacks, Blades, Claws, Fangs, 17 defense, super senses token. And he has the beginning of both of his dials. It's a shape change where he succeeds on a 4, 5, or 6, and other characters can use shape change on a 6. Apart from that, he doesn't really do a huge amount. He's got reasonable attack and okay damage, but no actual power to support that. On his bigger click, has Psychic Blast to begin on his little dial, so he's a nice little secondary attacker. But he's 100 points, and I don't know.
I think you'd probably build in around using his casket, and maybe some other effects would put tokens on people to try and get your bystanders out. I mean, the bystanders won't have the keywords, so you'll probably end up killing them with putting the winter tokens on them. He doesn't care though, he's Malekith.
The thing is though, if you're paying 175 points for him, he is not going to waste his time triggering off that casket. That is almost your whole team.
You could go power action, well he's not, you could go carry him up with a multi-taxi or something, and just go, right, everybody have tokens. The problem being that, with things like ID cards, you need to give them 2 tokens really so I think you need some other way of going, here's another token as well. Because if you just sat there, just giving 1 token out to your opponent's team, they're just going to beat you up, really. He doesn't really, he doesn't have any protection from outwit. He's got a reasonably long dial, but he only starts with toughness. I think you can build a shenanigan team around him if you can think of other ways just to slap tokens on people, and you just continually, locking your opponent's team down.
Yeah, he's okay.
Because you don't have to make attacks or anything. You just go and right. If you're within 7 squares of me, at the end of anybody's turn, you get a token.
Yeah. But let's just roll on with it. So up to Unworthy Thor. So he's just another Thor. 3 clicks of charge sidestep at 125 points. Also 3 clicks to run alongside that. A Hammer of a Dead Realities Thor, which is improved movement for hindering, improved targeting for hindering, and he has a range value of 7. It then goes to sidestep for 2 clicks, and then goes to flurry, has Battle Fury on all of those clicks. I'm not really sure as to why. I think in the old version it would be because he would have not been able to make range combat attacks, but he can't anyway because he's lost his range. He has a base 0 range, whatever. And has 4 clicks of combat reflexes on that as well. He has Invulnerability as a trait, and has Janborn, I probably said that wrong, which is his axe gives him critical hits on a 9, 10, or 11, as long as he actually hits with the attack. That's 10 points.
Yeah.
It's nice. But he's not in any way competitive. He's just a nice enough piece. Maybe his weapon will be useful if there's some character that has some crazy effect on a critical hit, but I can't think of any off the top of my head, and he's just a bit dull.
Even with a crit, I think it's like you end up having a 25% chance, so you're only really saying I'm paying 10 points for a 25% chance of doing +1 damage. So unless you do something really funky on a crit, then it's not really worth it.
That's pretty much
weapon,
what
yeah. I mean, for the figure, yeah, he's just he's a chargy guy with an axe. He's got a little bit of a range to maybe he can sidestep and then shoot you rather than charging, which makes him a little bit better. But
But yeah, I really don't think there's much to talk about him. So let me just move on. So we'll move to Loki. Now this is girl Loki that looks like Wanda Maximoff or Sif, depending on what time she's appearing. 80 points, has 2 clicks of stealth, 4 clicks of sidestep. For all but the last click of that, has Assume Wanda's form, which is a power action. Turn Loki to click 9. If you do, and would be KO'd, turn her to click 6 instead. She can't be healed. I'll mention more of the second dial in a moment. First couple of clicks defensively is combat reflexes and toughness, rolling on to invulnerability for a couple of clicks, moving on to impervious at the end. The first 2 clicks don't have any damage power, but the third, fourth, and fifth have the probability control, with the 6th one having perplex and probability control. Now the other click, so if you turn it to click 9, she has 9, 10, and 11. The first 2 clicks have barrier and psychic blast. The very first of that has that perplex and probability control, as does the 11th click, the last of that form before it gets KO'd. The equipment is the Staff of Loki. I mean, come on, even just invent a name. Loki staff is just awful. But it's 12 points and gives mind control and shape change. I think it's pretty good for 80 points. I mean, you have shape change through the whole dial. You have effectively what is a interesting type of stop click by just changing it to that form. I think she's all right.
Yeah, I like the callback to the Chaos War Wanda, Scarlet Witch, because that's the same click basically. On our last, I don't know if you remember that figure.
I do. It was ridiculous for its points. I think I actually bought 2 of that starter set just because.
Just to get Scarlet Witch.
I think I picked one up and then it sold out everywhere because that Scarlet Witch was ridiculous, and I found another one with the intent of like getting around to sell it in it, and I think I still have it in my loft, like sealed.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was like really good.
It's really good support piece, but yeah, I think she's missing some power. But I know she had the perplex. You were playing a perplex prob at 50 points or something like that.
I think it was just like defend the last click, but like it was a case of like who cared.
Yeah, it was slightly different, but it is obviously a callback to that figure, which I think is a nice thing to do, because that's what Loki is doing at that point. Yeah, it's a shame that he's not a better mind controller, because he's only got one target. You know, his staff's giving him mind control. It's a shame. I mean, Loki's one of the things Loki's known for, isn't it? Sort of mind control, so...
Trickster in
would
playing
it be hard just to give him 2 targets, maybe? That would make him a bit better.
Oh, and I've got Mystic Tomb ability as well, just as a side note. That's obviously pretty good. No, I would have preferred Indomitability. I mean, you're talking about Asgardian God, almost everybody else with this keyword has it. I don't think it would have broke the piece either at 80 points, but it's nice enough. I mean, it's just a really decent support piece, and
got a lot of keywords as well if you...
Yeah, Asgardian,
Dark Avengers, Deity, Mystical Warrior.
Warrior? Yeah, whatever.
Maybe a Sith, that's why he's got the Warrior up front. Don't know. Yeah, he's alright.
But yeah, so rolling on.
I mean, just before you go on, his weapon is not bad if you have somebody with like a lot of lightning bolt targets. If you have somebody with like a 4 target running shot or something like that, giving them mind control on top of that. Something, or 3, or anything like that. Anybody that's like got a big range, a lot of bolts, because the new mind control is quite interesting. If you hit, if you can hit a few people and they all run around hitting each other.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And the thing is, for me, I don't think an awful lot of play because it's 12 points, and for the vast majority of things, it's only going to really be having shape change, which you would just put the symbiote on, which is cheaper.
Yeah, I think WizKids overvalue it, mind control. I think it's better than it is, because it involves, you hitting 2 attack rolls, which is obviously, most of the time, you do not want to do it. So, unless you're Brother Voodoo or something, then I can't remember anybody else who I've ever used, and you think, I'm going to play them with a mind control and use that, but
there you go. So, if you're happy for me to roll on, next is Odin. I think he's worse than, by a long shot, worse than Odin the Destroyer, but here we go. 2 starting lines again. Top one 230, lower one is 150. Top one is sidestep, 3 clicks of sidestep, psychic blast, invincibility, and the Royal Guards of Odin power, which lets him take a power action, generates a Crimson Hawk token, or double power action to put in 2. You can't have more than 5 on your force, and they have charge, 9 attack, 6 defensive combat reflexes, 2 damage, close combat expert. He does have a trait which gives all Asgardians +1 attack, and the Crimson Hawks are Asgardian, so that helps. He also has leadership based on that trait. He has 1 click of that Royal Guard power on his small version, probably more likely to see play. That one is 3 clicks of running shots, precision strike, invulnerability for a couple of clicks, toughness later on. Fall into the Odin sleep, which is stop. This is last click. Stop impervious super senses at the start of your turn. Give him a sleep token. Free. Remove all sleep tokens to heal Odin a number of clicks equal to the number of sleep tokens removed. He also has probability control on that click, as well as a couple of times to the dial. He has 2 clicks before that stop click of Pulse Wave, Phasing, Outwit. It's Power Cosmic as well. And his weapon is Gungnir. It's a strange one. I'm not quite sure how it reads, really. It has a normal effect where its character's attack rolls can't be re-rolled. Don't know how helpful that is when you have probability control on the character half the time. But there you go. And he can be given an object attack using this item as an object. If he does, it modifies it by +3 attack, and the attack is penetrating damage, and this is still an object attack. As far as I've read this, I think we discussed it off recording last time about it. I think that means you basically break the speed to do this attack because it's the object that you're doing.
Yeah, I think the rules on on equipment objects is you can't. The only way of destroying them generally is with an object attack. So that's making you do an object attack with it. So you can just throw it away. If I was using Odin, has he got prob up front?
He's not got prob up front. He has the Royal Guard power at front. He does go to 2 clicks of probability control.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, he can't use it on himself, and I mean, which means the only really time I think I'm going to be using that is probably on like the first click as like a why not, which is fine. But it means he's only got running shot as his move and attack power, so you can't use it in that one. So it basically means if someone bases you have the option of hitting them with a 14 attack, 4 damage penetrating attack, but then you lose your spear. Which means it's not the end of the world because the spear's
not doing anything else.
Garbage.
It's just it's a one shot. Especially when you go on a prob, you don't want it. You want to get rid of it then. So I'd probably just use it to can I kill somebody? I'll just lob my spear at them for a 15 attack. Up, because you can throw it as well. So it's like a ranged.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, so they could do a ranged object attack. So I'll probably just be using it. Is there anybody squishy around who I can just wipe out with it?
I imagine there's probably someone out there who has some special attack thing, which is like if you hit this, you basically win the game, or you build a team that effectively runs that. Some may use the spear for something, but I think these are just underwhelming chases. Just the weapons are like all of the weapons have some team out there which is going to use them in a broken fashion. That's all the people are chasing them for, I think.
Well, at least, yeah. I think that's obviously a smart gimmick on WizKid's part. Like, they go, well, these chasers, it sells them. It makes people keep buying your boosters to say, I want the chasers because I want all the weapons. And if you see the prices that they're going for, people are just selling the weapons. They're going for a lot of money because obviously you have to get chased to find one. So,
fair enough.
And I don't think he's that bad, Odin. I mean, he's got little bystanders. He's got power cosmic at least, so he's going to keep that invincible. He's got a stop click that allows him to, he has a bit of a kip, and then he, heals himself. So he's not a bad figure. He's not a competitive figure because he's too high points, and he's too short down. But
that Odin sleep is kind of funny. I mean, you just heal him as many clicks as you want. So if you really want to sit there forever, he does have 19 defense, impervious, substances, and proper control to defend himself with. So it's going to be hard.
None of that you can even pulse wave. He's going to go, well, I've got impervious and super senses. You can't ignore it. So cannot with it.
So he's a pain, but he's 230 points and only attacks once. I don't care how good he is. He's not going to fly.
But anyway,
moving on then.
Yeah,
Valkyrie, last one. Thank the Lord. So 2 starting clicks. I'll just go through the first one. 95 points. She has 3 clicks of a Rider of the Heavens, gives a wing symbol, sidestep, and she can only carry people who share a keyword with her, which is Asgardian, Defenders, Deity, or Warriors. She has 2 clicks of Impervious, followed by 3 clicks of Toughness. 2 clicks at the beginning have Exploit Weakness, and 3 have Empower. A couple of clicks of Flurry, and then goes to Charge, Combat Reflexes, and 3 damage for the last few clicks. Her attack is fine. Somewhere between 11 and 9. Always does 3 damage. She's Mystic, and her little version's only... and her weapon is Dragon Fang. 10 points if you take it by on a normal team. Gives you Blades, Claws, Fangs, where you're allowed to reroll the result once. I mean, 3 attacks, 3 damage is probably okay. I mean, if you're going to have the option to reroll it, you're probably going to use that. I really like the cheaper version of her, where she's only 30 points, but has 10 attack, Exploit Weakness, 3 damage, or rerollable blades.
Well, I think I think you still can combine Exploit and Blades, because it's still the same.
Blades still not actually an action, it's just a trigger from an attack.
When you do a close combat action, it triggers, so you can do Exploit with Blades still, and you can reroll it, and it's like a minimum of, printed -1, so it's not quite as risky using Blades.
And she's 30 points, she's only cheap, and she still has Mystic, so even if she just gets shot, she's a little bit 1 damage for what she does. And then she drops, a pretty tasty little blade that someone in your team might pick up later on. She's fine.
Yeah, I'll say it, yeah.
There's not much to say about her because she's like the simplest of them all, but I think she's probably the nicest one. Probably the worst, or the least likely to be usable sword. I think you're probably only ever going to see that on Joker.
Yeah.
If you're playing Haha Joker and you really want him to be doing some damage, I think that itself might well be a thing. A 60-point Joker carrying that is not terrible. And also becomes not just a tie-up piece now, it's a tie-up piece that actually can deal some damage.
Yeah, what's the other, is there another thing that gives you blades and does something else? What's the other one that does that?
There's not another blades one, there's just sword. A sword, which is only 4 points that gives blades.
Just doesn't give you the... Yeah.
It depends on what your team is. Yeah. I mean, 6 points to be able to re-roll it, I'm not sure if that's worth it in most cases, but it's not a huge extra investment. It depends on what else you're going to spend 6 points on. So, yeah, that's finishing off the chases. We'll go at the starter and just do a quick run on them because these are all pretty straightforward for it.
Have we not? We haven't done these before, have we?
We haven't done these before
because they didn't get reviewed. I'm sure we did. Do we not? I remember the low key. We're not talking about that. Doesn't really matter. Anyway. Just run through them.
Run through real quick because they're not exciting anyway. Thor, 100 points, 50 points. Sidestep with Mjolnir, so he gets range combat expert, range 6 range for his first couple of clicks. Moving on to a more close combat for a couple of clicks with charge super strength. Does have a stop click on his bigger version, which gives him stop and vulnerability. Adjacent friendly characters get +1 speed. Then goes to sidestep and sidestep close combat expert with toughness. The best thing about him, I think, is his 50-point dial, which is a 50-point Avenger with flight and charge and leadership, and he's cheap. He's all right.
Yeah, it just
anything much to that?
No, not really. I mean, it's nice to have leadership, I suppose, on a low point Avenger figure.
Taxi.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we'll move on to Loki. 100 points, always 100 points. Phasing Psychic Blast super senses shape change to begin with. Moving on to a few clicks of a kind of pulse wave with Mastermind in the middle of it. Again, with shape change. Ending with Mastermind, Psychic Blast, and that's pretty much it. He does have a trait which gives him a token, an illusion token at the beginning of the game. If he would be KO'd, you remove the token and put him back to click 1 instead of him being KO'd. If he does have the token, he's allowed to use Colossal Stamina and can't be healed. So he's basically got like a pseudo stop click where you got to kill him twice. It's got a lot of mystics. We have done this before because I've talked about how we did the whole lot of them.
Yeah, I think we did.
They were all out at the time. I'll quickly run through them again.
Go on.
But he's alright, he's cute.
He's alright, He's annoying. I always find it annoying when you've got colossal stamina but you have no willpower, so...
But, he is basically he's basically 12 clicks long where you can't one-shot him, and he's got mystics, so he's a pain in the backside.
Yeah, he's a pain in the backside, really, and, that's it.
Heroclix is super dull, charge, super strength, impervious to begin with, sidestep, close combat expert for 3 clicks in the middle, and flurry quake at the end.
Why is Heroclix always super dull recently?
Because he is.
Yeah, but
because he's a character. He's just a boring character. All he wants to do is wrestle and.
Yeah, but he's sort of at the power level of a god deity, is he not? Oh no, I'm just missing something. Is he not a bit nearly as powerful as Thor? We get a 200-point Thor or something like that, and we get a 100-point Heroclix.
Yeah, we've had a good Heroclix for a while, but that's because he's just a naff character. He's just why not use
wrestle
Heroclix?
People and getting drunk, really, but yeah.
So I'll move on. There's a 50-point Captain America. It comes with Asgardian Shield, which gives you a shield deflection, and you can put that on your team for a couple of points. It's 4 points.
4 points.
I think that's not a bad one if you've got somebody who's specifically just going to get shot a lot. 4 points for any shield is pretty class. He has close combat expert for basically his whole dial. She's there for his middle stop click. His charge and combat reflexes going on the sidestep with super senses. His middle stop click is adjacent characters modify their attack by +1. And that's pretty much it. He's cheap. He's 50 points. He has some decent attack and damage. He's got it's called Indomitable. He's nice. He's cute enough.
He's pretty good with 50 points, especially with the stop click.
Yep.
And obviously with energy, he's got a 19 defense at range or close. So
yeah,
nice.
It's really good for 50 points.
Yeah.
And cheap. Another good cheap Avenger to add to the pile. Now, a not good cheap Avenger is a 100-point Iron Man, who is, I just think, garbage. As an activation click of outwit and basically nothing else, just Earthbound to take away his flight. Or effectively take away his flight. I know it actually doesn't anymore. He has running shot for his second to the third click, and then Force Blast after that. His first 3 real clicks after the activation give him Psychic Blast, where he can use it and target all opposing characters within range along a single direct line. He deals his damage equal to all of them, which is great, except for the fact his damage is 2, 2, and 3, so who cares?
Well, you can modify it.
He can modify it.
Yeah.
He has Perplex for every click after his first. So he starts with Outwit, moves on to
and I think they actually ruled it that he can just shoot through terrain as well. Because it doesn't say line of fire. He just targets people within range.
Okay, that's an interesting twist. It's still not worth 100 points, but it's an interesting twist. And here's a stop click, which gives him invulnerability and modifies defense values by +1 of adjacent friendly characters, which actually isn't a terrible thing. If his numbers were worse and he was 50 points, he'd be good.
Yeah, just get rid of that stupid activation click. What's the point of that?
Yeah,
especially
even
the Earthbound is completely. No, there's no reason for it to be there with the new rules, because it doesn't get rid of his flight symbol. It just says he can't use willpower or any improved targeting or something, which you can't do anyway. Improved movement, so yeah, flight it does give improved movement, so I suppose yes, but it doesn't actually get rid of the symbol.
And then moving on to the last piece, the reason people want to buy the set is you got Hulk, 100 points to 50 points, leap climb the whole dial, with some starting NAF movement getting better. It's a couple of clicks of super strength and quite a few of vulnerability, moving on to 4 clicks of impervious. If he doesn't have super strength, he has 2 clicks, third and fourth click, which has exploit weakness instead, but nobody cares. All you're playing him for is because the 50-point version of him has 12 attack, 18 defense with impervious, and 4 damage with super strength. And when he moves, he can make a quake at no cost, which means in the new ruling, he can run over, pick up an object, smash you in the face for 4 damage with his quake, bouncing you off a wall, which, of course, he's only doing that if you're near a wall. He then's going to smack you next turn with an object in the face for 6 damage, and he's 50 friggin' points.
And give him sidestep somehow and do it again.
Oh my god.
Play him with space. So, play a few of them with Space Mikey or something like that. Let's give them all sidestep.
Yeah, he is ridiculous. And obviously just surprise people with the Avengers team ability where you go, I'm going to move 11, not 10, you miscounted, bitch.
It would have been better if it was didn't count all your action totals, because then you could play 6 of them.
All of them.
Just run them all over at the same time.
Probably a reason that's not a thing. But yeah, let's get on to the complicated ones now. Because these dials are super long, I think I would take the executive decision to only talk about the Retaliator, because nobody cares about anything else, with the one exception of maybe a little mention on Groot, because I think he can peel past that click. Is it Groot, or is it the generic one?
The Flora Colossal.
It's the generic Groot, we'll talk about him. And Mangog, because he also has a weird thing. Let's move on to start with Surtur.
Yeah.
He's Power Cosmic. He's got 12 attack and 3 damage. Characters that can use Incapacitate, damage extra by 1 to him, so who cares? That doesn't affect him, he's only got 1 click. His Retaliator is free. If no other class Retaliator has activated this turn, choose an opposing character that has attacked Surtur or damaged friendly characters, or has damaged a friendly character since the last turn. I'm never reading that bit again. Place Surtur such that you can make a close combat attack targeting the chosen character. If you do, after action resolves, deal 1 penetrating damage to each opposing character within 2 squares. His defense is stop, toughness, can't do anything other than Colossal Retaliate on his dial, the same as everyone else's, unless he's hitting another Colossal. And he has 1 extra power of opposing characters can't use defense powers if they were the only target of Surtur's attack. So if he retaliates, hits, he deals his 3 damage, and you can't use defensive powers. And then he deals 1 penetrating damage to everyone around him anyway.
Yeah.
He's got 12 attacks, so he's probably going to hit. And he's only 25 points, and he's got his nice keywords, Asgard, Deity, Monster, and Ruler. Anything to add to that?
Just to remind people that defense powers is powers in your defense slot rather than any other powers that you've got from anything else. But yeah, it's a very good retaliation.
Only 25 points is
because it's not like you can modify his stats as well. It's not like a lot of the older ones where it was just doing, instead of normal damage, you do blah blah blah. So you could flex up the damage. Or,
yeah,
you know,
I mean, 12
like
attacks.
that.
12 attack is enough.
Yeah.
But 3 damage isn't great, but 10 that's like 5 damage with a couple of flexes, and that's really good.
Well, I think this is what we mentioned before. You just no one is playing 25-point punch fillers because they're just going, we're just going to play some retaliators instead because they can just do so much more. And the fact that you can just, you know, he's a carry, sidestep, or on these colossals is preferable, but just so you don't have to use your actions up, but you can still carry somebody else.
Still take an action.
He's got power cosmic, so you can't like outwit the retaliation, which is sometimes useful on if you know, to stop people using it on you. So him having power. Does he have power cosmic on all his starting lines? I'm assuming.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
it's not a trait granting it or anything like that.
Yeah. So decent one.
Yeah. Let's move on. We've got Mia, the frost giant one.
Say that again. What's his name?
Mia.
I don't know.
I think the Y is like. I think the Y is like it's not silent, but you don't really pronounce it.
Yeah.
It's like but you've got to put in a little at the beginning. I don't know Norse, we'll be honest. Not Norwegian or whatever it is. His retaliation. He has in the explosion modifies damage to him till +1, but again the colossal doesn't care. The retaliator, specifically doesn't care. His retaliation is that when you place it to make a close combat attack targeting the chosen character, all opposing characters within 4 squares in line of fire, then do so. So he punches all of them, not just a single target. Instead of dealing his normal damage, each hit character is given 2 action tokens that don't deal pushing damage. So he does have 11 attack and then 4 damage. You're of course not really going to get use that 4 damage a lot, but he is going to double incapacitate anyone he hits, and it's like it's all characters, it's all opposing characters within 4 squares in line of fire.
Of him rather than the target, yeah. But that's a change from the win, because a lot of the older ones used to sort of say from the target. So a lot of the newer ones say just anybody within 4 squares, and that's just referring to the character rather than the actual target. So
and he is that means it's really dirty for him because he has the big fat thing for it, and it also it's specifically opposing characters. So he's good for 25 points. Power cosmic again, so you can't outwit that power. Just a daft thing. He has 8 range as well, so if you are going to use it to carry up and waddle people up, he can shoot a wall out for you from a million miles away if he wants. That's not terrible.
Yeah, I think
it's fringe, but
putting tokens on people is good. Putting tokens on people with a 25-point character is, pretty decent. I think maybe he gets overshadowed by some of the other ones, but
he's definitely got his place.
Yeah. If you're playing a lockdown team where you've got multiple ways of putting tokens on, obviously going back to Mr. Malekith, he might work well with him because you're putting the tokens on, and then you're getting Dark Elf bystanders out as well, possibly.
Yeah.
So not too bad.
So we want to group. Keywords on Ymir. Ymir, Asgardian deity, monster, and ruler. On to Groot. Now he's 20 points. Has only 2 movement, but does have sidestep, which means he's a nice little free wiggle carry up. His stop click is defense power. Also includes defend as well as toughness, which is rare amongst it. He has 18 defense, which is pretty good. His retaliate is that you place him such that you can make a close combat attack targeting the chosen character and all other characters except Groot within 4 squares in line of fire. And then attack. Instead of dealing his normal damage, which is 0, each hit opposing character is given an action token, and each friendly character is healed a click. So you have either token up people or heal up with click. 11 attack. He's only 20 points. I think he really probably needs to make some use out of that defend and carry up another support piece. I don't think that's likely to be used, but potentially. He's also a ruler, guardian of the galaxy, and a howling commandos. And he's got what's it called? Indomitability. so he can, carry, walk.
You're probably not going to carry very much, sidestep a lot. I suppose you're trying to get the most out of, if you're playing people or you got a defensive sort of team, you got to stop clicks and stuff, that you want to use the retaliation to heal your guys off that or keep them alive. Again, he's putting tokens on people, which is nice. He's not terrible. 11 attack. What's his area of effect?
4.
All of the characters 4.
Himself.
That's a huge area.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I mean, the heal might be helpful, and he's just that's just really. If that works, and you hit lane, you've got like a bit of a normal type of swarmy-esque team. You've got more than 2 characters in your team, say, and just him. If you're going to get in and hit them, that's a big tempo swing. If you're going to be hitting like 3 clicks worth of healing amongst your team and their whole team gets incapacitated, that's pretty mad.
It's a shame he hasn't got a low defense power then, because he could run up. You could use your defend off him if he had, say, a 14 defense and make it easier to hit you. Yeah, make it easier to hit you. I'll take his 14 defense when he punches me. Yeah, I heal. So, having an 18 defend, I don't think there's any way of getting rid of that now.
No, probably not.
Because, all the sort of defend and stuff is just using printed values and things. You can't sort of chain a lower number down to make them easier to hit you. But never mind.
So the next one, Carnage. This is probably the most complicated one.
Well, it's probably the most broken one as well.
Yeah, I think so. So he's 10 points. He has sidestep and 6 movement. His retaliate is that place him such that he can make close combat attack targeting the chosen character, and then do so. After he's resolved, he can place a symbiote bystander adjacent to that character. I'll mention them in a moment. And his retaliation is just tough. His defense power is just toughness. So he is the little sidestep buddy you carry along. He has 11 attack and 3 damage, so he can shoot walls out for you if you want. He's only got a range of 4, but just daft things for it. His trait is that he has plasticity. He can also eat bystander tokens to heal 2 clicks, but of course you can't do that if you only retaliate, so I'm not going to talk about that. He also has a trait that during forced construction you can pay 10 additional points up to 5 times to include a symbiote token on your starting line, and the symbiote tokens have 16 defense with plasticity, 11 attack with blades, claws, fangs, 6 defense with super senses, and 2 damage with plasticity with shape change. He is broken. He is properly going to probably fill up almost everybody's team.
And the fact that he's 10 points instead, I was like, it's just cheaper, even though he's better. His retaliation only targets 1 character, but again, you
then generate effectively 10 points worth of figure for doing that.
Yeah, but I don't think they are 10 points, so they don't scoring points off them. I think the wording of his trait is weird as well. I think they need to clarify that, because you're saying you add 10 points to his cost, so you're not actually saying, I'm paying 9 of them, so that Carnage is classed as a 100-point figure. So
you can only go up to 5 times. You can make him a 60 point.
Oh yeah, but it's not. Does it class as 60 points then for ID figures or something?
I believe so.
Like that?
It is.
Can I use the better suited for 4s to swap them out for a 60-point figure and get those symbiotes for nothing? I don't think it should be worded like that. I think they need to.
During forced construction, you may add 10 points to him up to 5 times. Potentially. I mean, it shouldn't work that way, and if it does, they'll definitely correct it pretty much straight away. But I
think previously they should really say nothing can change the character's point. I just think they worded it. They could have just worded it, just say you can pay an extra 10 points up to 5 times to add a symbiote, rather than changing his cost
wording. Yeah,
because then he could. Because changing around characters' cost has weird interactions sometimes, so I don't think they should do it.
I think the major thing for him is the fact that it's just how ridiculous those symbiotes are. I mean, if you free drop a symbiote, you've got a threatening piece, because 11 attack with blades plus fangs you can't really just ignore.
No,
he's got plasticity, so you can't not ignore. You can't just walk away from him because he just won't let you. And if you try and hit him, he's got a 50% chance basically of either shape changing or super sensing it, and just if you do this to like a big figure, that's just unbelievably frustrating, and there's no way around it. If you punch the symbiote, Carnage just punches you again and makes another symbiote.
Yeah.
Like you need a friend to come over and save that day, but then that friend's just getting tied up anyway.
It's ridiculous.
It's just claggy, and I mean, it's just you just have Pulse Wave. Just make sure you have Pulse Wave on your team somewhere.
Poison actually, or a way of calling it. Poison's better.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of killing Carnage at the same time.
Well, don't Pulse Wave then, because he's got toughness that he can't ignore.
Yep.
Yeah, don't garbage. Pulse Wave any of the Colossals.
Don't do that. Ignore me. Yeah, let's move on to easily the dullest. It's Ms. Marvel. She's basically just Hank Pym giant man dude.
Yeah, I think she's a bit better because she's got the thing where you can modify your damage as well.
But apart from that, she's meh. She is 15 points. She is an Avenger, so she may well get some play. Play such that she can make an attack targeting the chosen character and all opposing characters within 3 squares of the line of fire, using knockback and then do so. So she doesn't have that whole thing of flying ones. She doesn't hit friends, which is nice. She's fine.
I mean, if you've got a lot of damage modifier, you could just go whack the 6 damage to everybody within a huge area of effect, and there's knockback added on top of that. So you could, I mean, maybe it's not, but she's, she has that potential to do a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, she's alright. I mean, she's an Avenger, so she's probably going to get crap ton of play anyway, but whatever. She's rubbish. Now the stupid one that I literally cannot.
Just to say, you can call her in with the Miss Marvel ID card as well. So she has her uses. Maybe that you can't afford the Animal card or something like that.
Yeah, fair enough. That's not terrible. On to the one that just boggles my mind. I don't even understand how this is a thing.
I don't think he's as bad as Carnage. I don't think you'll see, because I can play 3 Carnages for him.
Yes,
I'll never have 3 Carnages, but even if, go on.
So it says Mangog. He has a sidestep, 5 movement, super strength, 10 attack, 4 damage, with his colossal indifference being stop and impervious. He's 30 points of power cosmic, and his retaliation is that you place him such that he can make a close combat attack targeting the chosen character and all opposing characters within 3 squares in the line of fire. Then do so. Hit characters that each dealt 4 damage instead of normal damage. After resolution, make a close combat attack targeting each opposing character within 2 squares in line of fire, and these hit characters are dealt 3 damage instead of normal damage. So he's expensive. He has a double attack, but does a lot of damage. You can't modify that damage, so it's not amazing, but 4 is pretty good anyway. His attack doesn't need to work on it. But his last trait, and the mind-boggling one, is he can pull the Odin Sword. Power. Once per game, if Mangog completely occupies the opponent's starting area and hasn't been moved or placed by another friendly character this game, turn his dial to the next starting line higher than his current starting points. That becomes his new starting line and point value. So, in my head, you just play a rush team, you run forwards, they're pretty near the starting line, somebody inevitably gets punched on your team because that's what has to happen, that's how the game works. Mangog then jumps his way over as close as he can to the opponent's starting area and does some crazy hits, or doesn't because who cares, then just walks along into the start, or sidesteps along at the starting area, or walks along over to it and just pulls out the Odin Sword. And all of a sudden, he is now a 150 point colossal with 19 defense, invincible, 4 damage, 11 attack with super strength and charge, where he will get battered back to his stop click and will just become another, a colossal retaliator again. I think he's crazy.
I think it's a losing strategy, but it is ridiculous still. I think unless you have some weird you can't he's got 2, he's got sidestep plus 5 movement, so it's going to take you a long time to get there.
Not if you've been playing
retaliation, team. But then if somebody sees that across the map from me, you just go, well, I need to kill him. I think he's just, he's a personally, I wouldn't bother moving him. I would just sit him there and just go, well, you have to just remember that if you ever let me retaliate against you, then I'll leg it into your starting area.
Yeah.
I think moving him up just means you get shot.
Oh yeah, you never just.
I think you just sit there and hide as best you can, and as a deterrent to make people think, or if you're playing something like a bystander team or something, and you're just throwing like bystanders at people, eventually they will have to kill them, and then Mangog comes in, does his retaliation, and then he legs it towards your starting area, and then I've got, even if it's just, I have to spend an action to kill him. And he's got 19 defense. If I miss him, I've got to spend another action to try and kill him. So
I think the only thing
a distraction, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, the only thing you do with him is like first turn, walk up, pick an object, just sit there and be like, hey, you get me, I'm going to teleport, I want to smack you in the head with if you're daft enough to do it so that I can punch you and be within side range of the starting area, then that's just going to be crazy. It's like, I'll come down, I'll hit you with 2 attacks doing 4 damage, then 3 to basically what may well be your whole team. I'll then side up your starting area, turn into like the higher version of me and then charge out and just smack somebody else for 6 damage. I mean, yeah, he's expensive for a retaliator. He's probably not the most obviously helpful one, but I mean, he's one of those ones where the opponent's got to think about it. And even if they don't, I mean, if you have enough perplexes or whatever on his attack or ways of increasing it, then that's just an awful lot of damage. And again, it's specifically just only opposing characters.
I think that's one of the things I liked about them, though. It had the restrictions where you would be hitting your own characters as well. I think the fact that it's removed that a lot of the time and it's just opposing characters means I think they don't. I don't know if they're just a bit too good. As I say, they're forcing out anybody. You've got a few points left over and you think, I want to put something in. You just not. There's no consideration. You wouldn't go, I'll put a rock troll or one of those. 25-point piece. You just go, nah, I'll put a 25-point colossal retaliator in instead.
Yeah,
because they just do an awful lot more for the points. So just, I don't know, I said to you before, I think it's just forcing out any of the little point filler guys that you might have put in otherwise, because your colossal retaliator is doing a few jobs really. It can carry generally, so it's doing that. Some of them have like other effects, like an outwit from Solaris or an empower from Batsoup, so you've got a little bit of extra. Can shoot a wall out, and you're just thinking, that's 25 points for doing all those things. Yeah. Why would I ever play, anything else? I just think they're just a bit too good, really.
Potentially.
If you see what I mean. Even if they never get the retaliation off, they're worth the points. And it's just a threat that you have to think, I've got to play around the retaliation. I've got to use an ID card, get it off the board to make sure it doesn't get retaliated against, or just focus on getting some points by shooting them with, a long range. Dude, get rid of them first before I, start attacking the rest of your team.
Yeah.
But
So, on to the dull ones. So these are just the generic versions. We've got Frost Giant. His colossal retaliation is place him such that he can make close combat attack targeting chosen characters and all opposing characters in 3 squares in line of fire, and then do so. Hits characters that each dealt his damage value, which is 3, which can be flexed. Attack is 10, so it's a bit naff. He's got indomitability again, and he's got a strange power, damage power at the end of your turn. Choose one. Give an adjacent opposing character give an adjacent opposing character an action token, or give each adjacent opposing character that is lower point value an action token. Effectively, you're never going to be able to get that second one off on the tiny version because that's only characters that are 3 or less than 20 points, which is just none. But if you can get a couple of these down next to a big figure, you say they play only one big figure which has no real way of doing anything freaky with actions. If you can get 2 down next to it, you effectively just shut them down and they can't do anything ever.
It's the fact that you don't need to hit. It's just like automatic. So, unlike a lot of the other ones, like Ymir or whatever you call them, and Solaris and Groot and things like that, when they hit, they'll give you an action token. But this guy I'll just stand next to you and I'll give you an action token. And then if you haven't got rid of me at the end of my next turn, I'm giving an action token again.
Yeah. So I mean, it just seems a bit mental. Yeah, as you said, just all you do is just play, 2 of them with a couple of Sinestros or Superman robots. I think I'd probably be more likely to go with the Sinestro one because the Cosmos Tiger has 9 movement, and you just have them fly up, drop the 2 next to him, and just go. And now what you're going to do. Your big fat character is constantly being given action tokens. I've only spent 100 points on these 4 models, so I've still got 200 points in my team, which is just going around and knacking all your support pieces.
You could do that with a cheaper way of doing that, is by changing the size of them, because you can carry multi-base figures now. So you could call in the Atom ID card, make them tiny.
Oh, God.
Just whack them up with overdrive or something like that, slap them next to somebody, and just go, there you go, 2 tokens. And then I've got the rest of my team to kill you.
Yep.
And then every turn, you've got 2 tokens. You've got another 2 tokens at the end of my next turn. Yeah, good game.
Yep. So that's an awful thing. I mean, it's only 20. Is it 20 points? I mean, yeah, the version I'm talking about, where you have one of those. You've got what's his name that can do it as well, Solaris, but he's too expensive. So if you're looking for giant flies, it's just going to be the
but Solaris has only got 2 moves as well. So, but I think the fact that they're slow still.
Yeah.
And they'll get shot before they try and do that. You're putting a lot of points in there. You need to be fast if you're going to pull that off.
But if someone does that, so say you do this and your big figure goes, oh naff, got Sinestro coming up here, he's going to knack me, shoot, I've killed Sinestro, great. So what happens now is the Frost Giant he was carrying just teleports next to you instead, do his classification, the other one comes up and drops it next to you, or just walks up, or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it's fast enough still. I think you just go Energy Explosion or something and they're all dead. Because they've only got toughness.
Yeah, potentially, but yeah, it's one of those things. And then the last one.
You could do. Sorry, to still talk about him. You could do say the Malekith thing as well. That work well with him because he'll just go. I've ended my turn, give a token, and there's a Dark Elf sat next to you as well. And if you play Frost Giant, I'm sorry, they're not any decent at the higher points, are they? No, as in nothing else is, but they do get that at some of the other. You could
actually play both of the. You could do exactly what you're saying. You could play both of play both tactics. So have all of you carrying up Colossals to get near them, and then just have the Atom ID card, call the Atom in, shrink them all down for 1 turn, and they can all just batter whoever the next 2. Oh, now we can all suddenly punch you, gang up on them.
Yeah, I do like changing size figures. Yeah, and the fact that you can carry multi-base figures. I mean. Even if you just have one of them to do that trick rather than 2, it's 20 points where you're automatically putting it. As soon as you see, his big dude has got a token on, you just run up and go, there's a token.
Yeah.
And then you've got 2 tokens, and now, you're just sitting there doing nothing for the rest of the turn. And then you clear, and then the fact that he just does it again.
Pretty much.
You combo, because you could play that with Malekith or something. Because he has got the Asgardian keyword, so he's not going to get the tokens on from the casket. So maybe lockdown teams is another way of doing it.
Yep, I'm dreading them because none of them require hits, and it's just going to be just the worst auto win type of game, and I hate those. But yeah, you ready to move on to the last
bit of skill
garbage
involved. You need to figure out how to do it. It's and then once you've your opponent has then got to think about you're gonna. It's a bit like sort of an overdrive, sort of Doc Ock team, really. You know that it's coming. You just have to think about how you can protect yourself against that. Go on.
Yeah. So, Flora Colossus. This is the worst one. This is just rubbish. It's got 4 movement with its retaliation on there, 8 in defense with the stop with toughness. Its retaliation is place it so that it can make a close combat attack targeting the chosen character and all within 3 squares in line of fire. Each hit character is dealt its damage value, which is 1. Its attack value is 8. the only trick to it is that it can heal past its starting line, but only using the straight, which at the end of your turn, roll dice on a 5 or 6, it heals 1 click. If it's occupying water and terrain, it heals 2 instead. That would be all well and good if even at the 100-point version, which it heals into, didn't also suck nuts. It's just terrible. This is like, it's not just the worst out of the 8 colossals. This is the worst of any colossal as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think it's just annoyance, really. As soon as you healed them up, you just go, well, I can carry people up from the sidestep. I can quake people now, because I'm lost the thing where it says I can't attack smaller people. And then you've got to hit me, get me onto my stop click, and then hit me again to kill me. And I might heal if you don't kill me. Oh, I've got another retaliator. Well, you do hit me with a stop click, he's going to come in and smack you. So I think it's just like if you've got 10 points left over and you can't afford a carnage, you might play him and he's just quite annoying, really, because you knew as soon as he's healed, you got 10 points, and he's like, oh, I've got to really hit him twice, and he might keep healing, and he's like annoying. Does he then class? Hang on, he doesn't change his point value, does he? If he heals,
no, he still counts as being 10 points.
Still counts as being 10 points. All right, so you couldn't heal him up and go, I can call an ID counter.
He's just crap. But yeah, lastly is just the weapons. Now, these are all generic weapons. They all line up with the colossals. You get 1 per 1, and it's just going to. We probably should have mentioned which ones come with which, but I can't bother.
I think we've gone through more. I don't think we need to go through them all individually.
The generic weapons. Just a quick rundown of what they do.
Yeah, go on. They're not very exciting, most of them.
No, they're not. So, Hammer is 3 points. Hits an opposing character after resolution. If your attack roll was 10, 11, or 12, if you basically bring action token. The Mace is 2 points and gives knockback. The Bladed Hammer is 4 points, and the 11s count as crits. And also, if you crits, you give them an action token. Healing Casket is 10 points and gives you support. And if the result of the roll is 1, you destroy the object. The next is the Axe, which is 10s and 11s are critical hits and costs 3 points. 3 points is Spear, which gives you Giant Reach 2. 5 points is... 3 points is the Staff, which gives you Giant Reach 2. Spear is 5 points, gives you Giant Reach 2, and also you can use it as an object attack, which then destroys the Spear. The Sword is 4 points and gives Blazing Claws Fangs. And lastly, there is the Release Day one, which is the Adamantium Ball and Chain. Effect modifies your value by -3 because it's heavy. When this character hits after resolution, you may queue up the object. If you do, the chosen character is modified speed by -3 for the rest of the game. And that's 6 points. Yeah, they all pretty much suck. I think the most likely to see
just for knockback, because it's quite useful. I wouldn't bother playing any of those.
For Joker alone.
Yeah, if you can't afford the better one. If you can't pay the 10 points for the other swordy thing. I mean, Healing Cask is not bad for support. If you've got like another cheap figure that's got an 11 attack or something, you want to give them support. It's not terrible.
So yeah, there's not much more to say on that one. So I think it's about time to finish this off and just talk about how we think this is going to affect the meta, what's going to be the biggest pieces, and that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you want to start that, or some ideas? Or do you want me to start? We'll
just start. How about we just chat about the elephant in the room and talk about Unimind? Yeah,
the one that you thought was rubbish.
I don't think I said he was right. I said I think he's probably going to be too complicated to get some use out of his down too short.
I'm going to re-listen back to that episode and quote what you did say.
Yeah, but he's apparently winning stuff left, right, and centre. He is competing with Jakeem for the most bent thing out there at the moment. Just playing the littlest version. Just giving him 3 act things. I'm essentially just making him super defensive, kicking out all of the ID cards he possibly can, and when he dies, he doesn't actually die. He just turns into 2 or 3 characters who can then just call an ID character themselves as well.
I think currently with this release, it's just... it sort of did that.
People don't know how to do it.
Well, no, Jakeem and Goblin King were like, we'll play them. And I think it's just turned into, with the change of the ID cards, to make it you're looking at, well, I can have a token on and still bring an ID card in. It's just it's turned into who's got the most efficient ID battery. So Unimind's good because he's got a stupid amount of perplex, and then he can pick prob from his one of the other Eternals. So, and he's also I can keep Power Cosmic to protect myself from outwit or something like that, and just you go defensive.
The stupid last click. I mean, you can literally just go. On my last click, it's a stop click, so I'm getting to it. Impervious. I'll turn up Power Cosmic off if you haven't got outwit. You might not. You might not by that point. I'll knock myself to 19. I'll knock myself to 20 defense. And what you're going to do about it? And then when he's free, he'll just hypersonic speed and slap you with his steel energy, which just heals him just the one that he needs to basically get another stop click.
Yeah, he is.
He's rough.
Yeah, and he's got stupid. He's a good attacker in himself as well. Sort of, especially higher up his dial.
Certainly reasonable.
Stupidly long. Well, but there's 2 perplexes that can +2/+2, so you can go 13/6 or something with Psychic Blast. It's not terrible. Or you can do a double mind control if you're really into that sort of thing.
If you're mental.
But yeah, and it's just stupid ID calling in. But I don't know like how you beat him really very easily, because you've got so many. You're going to expend a lot of effort to try and kill him, and then it's like he pings out his 3 dudes probably miles away behind walls and stuff. So you're thinking, all right, well, I can't really get to them, and you've done all that, and you've scored no points. And then they could either leg it or just stop calling in other guys, and he's got the rest of his team as well on top of that. So.
Hard to beat.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, lockdown maybe, but he's sort of, the fact that he can call in ID and then next turn he's going to call it again. It's just turned ID cards into just necessities really. Where before they were, you would play them, but you would sort of anticipate. Well, I know that guy's got a token on him now, so I know he can't call in ID character. You could have like a colossal guy just going, I can call in ID character every turn because I can still do a power action. So there's nothing to stop you getting. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever play him because they're just like that type of hipster that says I'm not going to play him because he's too popular.
And I probably will play him, and yeah, I probably will end up playing him. I'm going to, again, same with well, I don't know, I think the 2 teams I did play, that won Nationals, I mean, I like them. The brutal teams, they are basically just spin-offs of other people's teams, nothing super inspired within them, but I mean, if you just get the strongest team and you pilot it well, you can win stuff.
Yeah.
And he is obviously apparently bent as all hell.
Well, you just got to think about how you kill him really, and it's like he's sort of a bit vulnerable to say Green Arrow, but the fact that you can that's going to get rid of your invincible and your stop click, but the fact that you can also then pick other powers to go, well, I'll pick, I don't know what the other guys have got, but you could pick Impervious, for example.
Yeah.
If you had that, and then he says, well, Green Arrow gets rid of the invincible, but doesn't get rid of the Impervious, so he's going to hit you, he's not going to get you onto your stop click, so then you've got to hit him again to get past the stop click. So just all the effort you've got to go in to get rid of him, and then you haven't scored any points.
He's mental, and that's we're still talking about this, and he's still just as he's still in the same ballpark as every other tentpole. He's still in that kind of 175 to 120 point range. That means that you're still going to have effectively a full team around him. Your keywords are bad. I mean, you've got Cosmic and Eternal. You're not going to play an Eternal team.
Cosmic has a lot of Cosmics out, but I mean, you don't really have to worry about theming. I don't particularly think
specifically, but
it's not as if any map is going to hurt him that badly because he's just going to he's sitting there going, "Come on, I'm going to pour ID cards as soon as you come close to us."
Sorry, I'm just going to play him and Leo, and Space Leo's going to take away all of the toys, and theme team it up together
with some colossal retaliators, because we've got like
a couple of them. We got Mangog. And the only other one is...
Yeah, I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, but you've got Superman Robot, that's one. Skyscraper Wonder Woman's pretty good. These are all things.
Yeah, it's cosmic you could do.
Also, I don't know how bothered you for it. The Skull Ship. You could play the dirt cheap Skull Ship that you could stick somebody in. They're a cheap pilot.
No.
Oh,
the one that it just gets stuck. You're just gonna shoot the Skull Ship then, aren't you? Because it's like it can't hide anywhere. There you go.
I don't
know. I think you're just playing Unimind plus a bunch of IDs and some other support secondary attacker. Everybody just go, I'll just play 75-point Goblin King or something like that, and go, there you go.
The disgusting Rennet Tilly, the 70-point, does millions of carrying people and probability control on everyone.
I don't think, probably. I think you might need another secondary attacker, really, just for the odd occasion where you might have 2 tokens on him.
Just Space Leo. Screw it, Space Leo. Space Mikey.
Space Leo's probably... Space Mike is good if you're trying to give people sidestep and stuff, but Unimind you can just slap on Supreme Intelligence or something and say, I'll get sidesteps through that. It's handy.
Yeah. That's all it's ever going to be used for. I thought you're just going to give them that. Stealth as well, because...
Well, if you're going to call in ID characters, like having sidestep's nice. Of course you can TK him as well, with the new rules, just normal TK and bust out somebody, I don't think I like playing against him, which unfortunately it's going to be a lot of playing against him if you want to play competitively in any events.
Apart from that then, because obviously people are going to get sick of talking about that, is there anything that stands out for you amongst the figures? We'll talk about weapons, because I think they're obviously the other big thing that's going to make an impact, but is there any other figure that you think stands out?
Maybe it's not like really stands out. There are, as we've talked about, just some really decent sort of supporty figures. Like I quite like the Prime Red Leader with all his perplexes. I like Jane Foster as like a support piece for 30 points.
Yeah.
Eric Masterson, just another cheap support with like perplex and enhancement.
Avengers, why do we like... I like the Avengers, but why are we just inundated by like between 10 and 100 and like 70 point Avengers that are just all so crazy good?
Because of them, there's just nobody like big who you can sort of play them with.
Yeah. Ripjet.
Odin the Destroyer is pretty good. Although I think he's rubbish, but I would like to play him, the Tyrannus with all the little bystanders.
I don't think he's bad. I think he's got a place in a scientist team.
He doesn't do anything apart from like calling bystanders, but if you can abuse bystanders in some way, he is just the fastest producer of bystanders ever. Because he's going to go, I'll have 2 to start with, and then I'll have another one, my first turn, and I'll have another one then, and I've got two, so I'll have another one. So it won't take you long just to flood the board with them. If you've got somebody... one thing I was thinking of was like, just because he's quite a long dial and hard to kill as well.
Yeah.
Just have one of your big dudes just pick Mastermind all the time. Just go, right, I'm going to have hundreds of these guys surrounding me and I'll have Mastermind. Because Mastermind's hard to get around now. Because, Precision Strike doesn't ignore it, so it's actually a decent defensive power now. So having a bunch of 0-point guys mooching around you and picking Mastermind is like a really good defensive option. Other than that, I don't know any of the sort of super rares. Sort of float me boat.
Thor? Not the Kate
It's not
Thor?
really my type of figure. I don't really like playing big hypersonic guys generally.
Yeah, I think for me it's just that calling in a buddy as guardian to shop next to him.
Yeah,
I think that's going to save him a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he's expensive to be. I said putting in some shenanigans is expensive for that, but I think if you can get
could you do that with that? We were talking about the Frost Giant thing. He could do that, couldn't he? Because he's got the Asgardian keyword.
The Frost Giant, yes, yeah, you can.
So you could run up Hypersonic and then plonk him next to him and go, have a token.
Yeah. And the next turn, do the same thing, plonk the next one next to you. So if you essentially you can build a team where it's Asgardian based. Thor you just wait for them to do action. Thor flies across the map, hits you with his medium sized attack, drops the guy next to you, you're incapacitated, so you have to clear, he then smacks you again and drops another guy and you're permanently incapacitated forever.
Yeah. Wow. There's quite a lot of Asgardian, an Asgardian team might be actually viable. Because obviously with the Retaliators, with your big guys, and there's probably a few other little decent supporty dudes as well.
Because Jane Foster has the Asgardian keyword.
Yeah, so she's a nice guy to pair with him.
Just to heal him back up once he's been burning through his health, his health triggering that stuff.
Taking the plot point.
And the thing is, because he's hypersonic, he can fly. Say you're playing, I don't know, Unimind and your buddies. He can fly up and bitch slap and one shot potentially your little buddy, and then stop next to Unimind, stop near-ish Unimind, and drop a frozen dude next to him. There you go. You got 2 tokens. Congratulations, you're stunned forever. And then next turn, go and kill another buddy, and then stop again on the opposite side of Unimind, dropping another Frost Giant, and he is just there, and then you could just end the game at that point. You're up head on points. They can never do an action ever. You can just go, screw you, I'm not going to pop you because I know what happens if I do. Game's done.
He's also got an ultimate that says when an opposing character will get an action token, they get 2 action tokens instead. So if you can just go, right, I'm just going to play 2 guys with barrier, I'm going to sit in my starting area, get my ultimate off, and then do my Frost Giant trick. Oh yeah, that's 2 tokens straight away. I don't need.
I think if you can do that, but you would need to be shot. I think you need to shot in Jane Foster to keep healing him.
Well, you need somebody to heal you, yeah. But somebody with a defend heal, like her or Night Nurse or something, is easy going to heal you up.
I mean, you'd obviously go for Jane. She's just a Asgardian as well.
Yeah, you could do that. Or you'll be picking map as well, so you could just go. Well, I'll pick Morlock's Tunnels or something, or Wizkid's Office, and just go. Well, you're never going to get to me. Well, I suppose it's a bit of a boring team, but the fact that there's a lot of people with that synergy that goes off action tokens, I think would be worth maybe having a little look at if you couldn't build something. And it's a way of locking down, because the big huge tent poles calling out ID cards is what you're seeing. Everybody's doing that. So if you can think of a way around of how to beat that, there's not much else to worry about. And things like barrier is a much better power in the new rules, because it's much harder to shoot through it, because you have to do a ranged combat action specifically to do it. You can't flurry through it or just kill, or do say Hawkeye. I'll run it shots or something. Yeah, you've got to do a ranged combat action that says destroy wall. And even Cosmic Spider-Man or anybody with improved targeting, destroys blocking, can only destroy 1 block of terrain or 1 wall. Doesn't destroy all of them.
I mean, if you're playing that's what we just talked about. So a couple of Frost Giants, Jane Foster and Thor. You still got 55 points to play with, and I would probably in that case consider putting on the Supreme Intelligence on somebody to get a TK out, so that you can just have Thor big TK 6 squares, which means you can then hypersonic speed and hit somebody from a total of 21 squares away, which is effectively the whole map if you're picking map, because you get at least +4, probably +5 if you're playing the Avengers-esque thing, and you can have that lined up.
Yeah, it's probably too much faffing about, really. but because you would need actually somebody to do your barrier for you as well, and then you probably wouldn't get that with Asgardian.
You definitely wouldn't get that with Asgardian. And I'd also search for something. You wouldn't, not in that points range. You can't find an Asgardian with barrier.
No, but I do like the fact that he plays off tokens, and a lot of other people play off tokens. He could use the Cascade of Dudar because he's an Asgardian as well. I suppose just getting to that ultimate just takes so long. You need some way of actually protecting yourself for a few turns to be able to do it.
Yeah, there's no Asgardian with barrier unless on the first click. The only one with on any click at all is the 80-point Loki, who did the chase one, and even then you have to change to your Wonder form to do so.
Because with the casket, that would basically put 2 action tokens on anybody within 7 squares who hasn't got those keywords.
Yeah. For a turn, you then...
I'll just run up, I'll carry up with something, and then just go, everybody has 2 tokens. There you go.
It does say each player, so when it's 3 tokens, like you give them a token at the end of your turn when you first trigger it, at the end of their turn.
Yeah.
After that, so they clear and then get a token again. Then it's your turn to get a second token, so got to clear again. But you also have to take an action to keep it going, otherwise it would then break. I suppose if you have, I don't know, you can't put it on someone with colossal stamina because you can't do that.
Well, you don't maybe need to do it very often. It's just like I will run up and lock you down, and then just for like 1 turn is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he's quite expensive to do that. Obviously, you've got to think about. But anyway, yeah, we're just getting off track here to talk about things. But yeah.
I think a nice piece that's going to see some players will be the Super Rare Hulk, just as a stick him on the ID card because he's pretty good for that.
Well, just again, busting walls because that is hard. If people go to a lot of go back and play double barrier, especially with the 35-point Green Lantern or something, and use that to protect themselves. Because that's one thing that, if you're facing a lot of people who only really attack once a turn, like if Unimind's there and he only wants to do is call in ID cards to blow your face off, if he's only really doing 1 attack a turn, then it's hard for him to get through barrier.
Yeah.
He's then got to send his little helper out to try and shoot the barrier before he can get through it. So he's got a double. If you can get him on a map where you've got, say, 2 walls to get through, then he's never going to be able to do it because he's going to destroy 1 at a time. So if you can do that and then move up and then suddenly throw out somebody who could smash through barrier, kill someone.
Yeah.
It's a way to play sort of defensively, but...
Meh. I mean, I think that's my take on it. So, do you want to talk about the weapons? Is there any standout that are going to just be seen everywhere?
I don't know. I quite like Blood Axe.
Yeah.
Battle Fury exploits steel energy, especially with all the shape change going around.
I did say this last time, and you were like, "No, it's the crowbar."
Well, yeah, maybe they've gone off the crowbar now. I mean, the crowbar is nice for putting on something like Nick Fury.
Because Nick Fury doesn't have enough stuff already.
Well, it's to get through Invincible and stuff that he says, well, I don't really need to, remove it. I'll remove your shape change instead and then just shoot you through that. But I think it's just a Battle Fury bit that you think, well, I can't make range attacks, I can't be carried. So you've got to put it on somebody who, like a Hulk or something like that.
You can at least... I don't know, you can at least be carried up to it and then pick it up. Or you don't start holding it. I mean...
But you can still go down the power action to equip it, but then you can't be carried when you're holding an object anyway. So... yeah, it's got to be somebody that specifically doesn't mind having Battle Fury. Or even somebody, even if you think, well, I can't range attack myself, but I've got a few ID cards that I can just call into range attack until I get close to you.
Yeah.
then that's not too bad.
I'm still curious on something like the Superman, one of the shifting focus ones. I mean, if you can give that to, say, the smashing walls,
you don't want to do it on a shifting focus one, because remember that it does not carry over when you change.
No, but the weapon still stays on the original version, doesn't it?
I don't know. No, I think it gets
just destroyed,
unequipped or something. Whatever the unequipped says, it specifically says that. So he's going to drop it.
That could be worse. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I mean, anybody that like has just charge and maybe the long dial with the steel energy, especially stop clicks, because like that World Breaker Hulk from Avengers Defenders War would be good with it.
Yeah, because he doesn't need carrying, he just piles in himself.
Yeah, he just piles in himself. Anybody with like a really long charge, like that Superman from Elseworlds as well, full dial, charge.
The Darkest Night,
Dark Knight Returns one. Yeah, anybody with a big long charge, that's useful for. TK him up instead of, because you can TK even if people are, you can't equip when you're giant, but you could, that Hulk or something, anybody with like, cheap guy, I'll TK him up and then he's got all sorts of nastiness.
I think almost all of them, like about half of them, have like a team that they want to get some use in. I mean, the Frognier given some little support piece tiny, so it can be carried around, is going to be good. The crowbar, as I said, just turn off power, so it's just handy for some teams that you can't do it for. The mirror, just getting, yes, it's a 3-up shape change, yes, it breaks, but 3-up shape change, I don't mind paying to the 7 points, that 12 points for it. That's 12.
You can put it on, 7. Especially on somebody where they say Power Cosmic or something, then you can't outwit the shape change, because you can obviously outwit.
And it's like, and all of a sudden it's like, yes, it's the first roll. It is the one that it may well break first. But
I don't know if I would attack somebody if you've got a 3. If all you need to do is roll a 3, you'd just be put off attacking them, wouldn't you? You wouldn't bother, because you think, well, there's no point attacking you unless I can get rid of that shape change somehow. So that's really good.
A little bit, and then you've got like the dueling swords, extra attack for very cheap. It's even like a hypersonic harassment piece is pretty good. We've obviously talked about all the chase ones; they all have the place, and I still like the idea of a sword wielding Joker. If nobody else does,
definitely. No, he's pretty good. Just to put that on and make him a bit of a threat, especially if he has outwit as well as that on his outwitty sort of clicks.
10 attacks is fine for it. Apart from that, is there anything else you want to mention before we wrap this up?
Not really. I haven't said about the. I do think that Carnage is we didn't talk about
problem piece.
Well, it's not problem. It's just that like people will just spam him because he's like cheaper and he's better, and all the others will get forgotten about, which is a shame.
Potentially.
Because even though there's things like Certia and other ones are nice, you just think, well, he's slightly better and he's slightly cheaper, so why bother playing any of those? I think shenanigan-wise, I do like the Frost Giants, and I do like the idea of putting tokens on people, because that is one way of trying to get around if people are just playing 10 pulls. If you can find some way of just locking down, especially without making attack rolls. Always useful.
Maybe we'll see. I still quite like the Thor team. Then even if you kind of don't trigger it for whatever reason, then someone can just shoot you. If someone shoots you, you do just get to go, well, you've just done an action to do that, so I'm going to then just call in my buddy anyway, and then I will just do my title action to call another one. Unless you can get to the Frost Giants to kill it, it's going to be really hard if you've only got like one tent pole and a couple of support pieces. I think it's going to be a case where you're going to have a support piece that can call in someone sufficient enough to kill something like that. Which I think someone like an ID card cheap enough to use it. Probably going to end up seeing a Cosmic Spider-Man being used a lot for that.
Well, you see, like the if Goblin King's like your support piece of choice, you've got like the Superman boxing ring 75.1, or like the Flurry with Precision Strike Battle Fury. And obviously Goblin King can pump him up. Cosmic Spider-Man, I think with the changes to the shooting through blocking, you might see him sort of go off the boil. Yeah,
he's still the cheapest way of getting the most penetrating damage out in the game. Like, he still does 11 attack, 4 damage with Psychic Blast. It's still like mental.
I think it's because it's improved targeting. Why people are playing them though.
Generally, but I mean, even if you don't get to use it, if all you need is a piece that does like what you have like the old kind of Hawkeye for, he's still the best version of that.
Yeah, but if you've got Goblin King, you could probably just out-shoot him yourself then.
Quite possibly. Probably not going to use it.
It's a fact that you can shoot through the different terrain that's like useful, so I don't know. Anyway. It
still suits through one. But yeah, I think with that, we'll wrap it up and go to bed.
Yep.
So, that's it from me.
And that's it from me.
Bye.
Goodbye.